Pat Gallagher has been in his position only 8 months, but has already established himself as a leader committed to excellence in everything we do, and that includes athletics. Pat, I think everyone's anxious to hear what you have to say.
Thank you, Randy. Well, great. This really is a happy occasion, and I want to thank all of you for coming here today. Let me comment just briefly on the process that got us to this point and sprinkle in my own appreciation as well. At the culmination of a moment like this, of course, we're going to meet our new athletic director, and the spotlight will correctly go there. But this really was a collective effort by the university. I said we were going to do this thoughtfully and deliberately, and we did. And I want to thank Randy Jewell, who's done a great job. You're not done, Randy. This doesn't start till July 1st, so you're not quite done yet. I want to thank him as well for chairing our search committee. It was a great committee. It brought representation from across our campus and from different perspectives, including from coaches, from our trustees, from our staff, from our student athletes, and it was invaluable to me. I cannot imagine having made this journey and this process and this decision without their help. I also want to thank DHR, who was our search firm that we employed. They were professional, outstanding. They opened the doors they needed to open, and incredibly professional. Glenn, I want to thank you and Pat for your hard work and your dedication. It was a real pleasure to work with all of you. To recap, when I charged the search committee, I asked them to look for 4 things. First of all, it started with leadership. I wanted our athletics to represent this university. And specifically, I was looking for a shared vision of excellence. And I think that starts with our students. Students are athletes, and students are scholars, and students are people. And we want all of them to succeed, that whole person to be successful. And so a student-centered definition of excellence means that the goal is set high, but it means that we have to graduate everyone, and we have to succeed on the field, and we have to make sure that these people live successful lives. And that starts with a lot of things, but it's all about setting the tone, it's about doing it right, and it's about believing in it. And it's what those things do is they establish a culture of success. This is also a time of great change in collegiate athletics, and it was important that that leadership include helping the University of Pittsburgh and the Atlantic Coast Conference navigate these changes. And so I was looking for somebody with the stature to lead nationally as well. The athletic director is also a key part of my management team, and I was looking for somebody who could join that team and be a great partner. The other thing I asked the committee for was execution. It's great to have a vision, but a vision without execution is a dream. So you need to plan, and you need to think, and you need to map out where you're going. That has to be a collaborative process, and I was looking for somebody who would work with our coaches, work with our athletic department, work with our stakeholders, work with our student athletes, set that direction, and set the conditions for excellence. So it's about getting everybody on board. I also asked them to look for teamwork and engagement. Success in this arena is bigger than the athletic director, it's bigger than the athletic department, it's bigger than the university. It's really a community effort. And one of the things that Scott is famous for saying about athletics is that it's the front porch. It may not be the most important room in the house, but it's the most visible. And that's true. And that strength of athletics, that power to bring us together, also means that we have to work together to make it successful. So I was looking for somebody who excelled at teamwork and partnership. That includes fundraising and other areas of activity. And finally, I told them to look for somebody who is ready today. We have the student athletes here now. We have the coaches here now. We have great facilities like our Peterson Event Center and our partnership with the Steelers. We have the fan base. We have the passion and the energy. And it wasn't fair to that group if we were waiting several years to build into that. So I wanted an athletic director who was ready today. And I'm pleased to announce that with Scott Barnes, we have found all of those things. Scott has built a record that is remarkable. It's a record of comprehensive, student-focused success. both on the field, and that's evidenced by Utah State's football program, averaged 10 wins a year over the past 3 seasons, and been in 3 consecutive bowls, conference championship. It's in basketball with a high winning percentage. It's in fact across all the sports with a broad-based set of programs, athletic program success. Under his watch, Utah State won 20 conference team championships, and individually, USU student athletes perennially produced all-conference, all-American, and all-academic performance. That's what it will take to thrive in the ACC. It's also true in the conference. He navigated a change in conference and understood that that means positioning the university to compete within that new conference and setting that direction and setting those goals. But it also includes in the classroom. Under his leadership, Utah State achieved an 84% graduation success rate. In addition to scoring high in the most recent report, they also, their students had a cumulative GPA of 3.17, boasting many Mountain West All-American honorees and scholar athlete status. That's exactly the kind of achievement we want as well. And student athletes in Utah State have demonstrated their commitment to their community by serving thousands of hours of community service at scores of events. I was also impressed with Scott that he knows how to get things done. Yes, the vision is there, and yes, the desire is there, but he works with everyone to create a specific plan. It's a methodical plan. It sets real priorities, and it figures out how we assemble the resources, the personnel, and the team to tackle those challenges and move and become more competitive. Under his leadership, great coaches were hired, and he supported great coaches. His administration developed a strong track record of developing strategic plan and execution. With fundraising at an all-time high, new facilities that are so essential to the success of our athletics programs both funds were procured and the facilities developed. And he has a proven track record. With over 26 years as a sports administrator, and over half of that as an athletic director, he has worked in schools large and small, from well-funded programs to duct tape and baling wire. Scott has seen it all and shows that he can work under almost any circumstance to bring great success to a program. But I want to finish with something that's not in the resume, and that is that this is a man of great warmth, integrity, and sincerity. And what comes across when you talk to Scott Barnes is his focus on the student athletes. And I don't know whether that was because he was a student athlete, whether he married a student athlete, whether he has kids who are student athletes, or whether it's just this professional pride. It embodies everything he does. And it's that same sense of caring and focus that you see in his personal life with his family, his commitment to his friends, that makes him really stand out in my mind. And for that reason, I think he's a perfect fit here at the University of Pittsburgh. So let me be the first to welcome the Barnes family to Pittsburgh. Jody, we welcome you, and Milana, and Isaac, and Scott. Let me introduce our next athletic director here at the University of Pittsburgh.
Thank you, Chancellor Gallagher, for your kind words. This is an exciting day for the Barnes family, and let me introduce my wife, Jody. Jody, could you stand for a minute? Jody's here with us. Also, thank you. We come as a team, I will tell you that. Our daughter, Milana, is right in the middle of finals at Utah State, so she's got 2 things on her mind: finishing finals and getting ready to figure out how to transfer to Pitt. My son is a sophomore in high school, and looking forward to potential college career in basketball. He is currently in Indianapolis playing in an AAU tournament. Would love to be here as well, but I will promise you'll see much of both of them over the course of time, and we can't wait to get started here. Before I move on, I'd like to pay special thanks to some very important people as it relates to the facilitating the search process. I want to thank the search committee, and in particular, Randy Jewell, for all of your work. We appreciate that very much. Sitting in front here, Glenn Sukiyama. Glenn, at every turn you were a professional. I want to thank you for that. It means a lot to me, and appreciate your work as well. Also, as you think about, as I think about how I got here, a lot of people that I'd like to thank, and let me do that by starting with my parents. My father, who passed a couple years ago, my mom, Helen Barnes, both two of the hardest working individuals I've ever met in my life. My older sisters, Erin and Eva Jill, who kept their younger brother in line for a lot of years. And from a professional perspective, those that helped me grow in this industry, I would like to thank the following: Gene Smith, athletic director at Ohio State; Todd Turner, former athletic director at University of Washington; Dutch Bachman, executive director of the 1A Athletic Directors Association; Mark Hollis, Michigan State athletic director; Ron Wellman, athletic director at Wake Forest University; and Tom Thomas of Cardinal Advisors. For these are men who have helped me grow over that 26 years and have an opportunity to be before you today, and for that I am extremely grateful. In addition, I come to you from Utah State, 7 years there, and an unbelievably blessed 7 years. I want to take this opportunity to thank Stan Albrecht, president, who was a terrific friend and mentor during those 7 years, as well as a host of people that supported Jody, myself, and our family over that period of time. Let me share a little background with you now. Chancellor Gallagher had mentioned that both Jody and I are student athletes. I must set the record straight. Jody is the much better athlete in the family. Jody still is third all time in the high jump at Fresno State University, where we met. As for me, I worked really hard to gain a reputation as a defensive stopper, guarding guys like Karl Malone in the NCAA tournament. Held him to 32. Of course, by then halftime rolled around and I was able to regroup. I want to talk to you a little bit about my background. In addition to being a student athlete and thinking about what that really means, our ability, both my wife and I, to understand the needs and the issues of today's student athletes and coaches, I think helps us in our endeavor. And this, by any means, is not a job. This is a lifestyle. And we have great passion for the lifestyle. 26 years in the business, 15 as athletic director, as Chancellor Gallagher had mentioned, and we've enjoyed our time throughout that process. Two things that we have focused on and will continue to focus on here. One is how we align with the university. Athletics truly is a front porch. In fact, as you think about athletics, Pitt athletics as it relates to the university, it is not the most important room in the house, but is the most visible. And with that comes both opportunity and responsibility. Opportunity to invite all sorts of constituents, fans, alumni, or re-invite them through the athletic door to different parts of the university and campus. Also comes with a great responsibility, and that is that we have to make sure those folks that are sitting on the front porch, that are standing on the front porch, are representing this great university in the way that we want. That includes our student athletes, our coaches, staff, and others that are affiliated with our university. And we promise to make sure that that is a focal point in our alignment. Without alignment, in short, athletics cannot reach its goals. We must be aligned and we must be partners with the greater university good, and we'll look forward to doing that from day one. Certainly the other priority is the student-athlete experience, and when you think about what's happening today in intercollegiate athletics, the focus is, rightly so, on the student-athlete. We'll take great measure to make sure that excellence happens in the classroom, on the field of play, and preparing our student-athletes for life. There's a number of things that we'll do to continue to bring that in focus. And what's exciting about being here and thinking about Chancellor Gallagher's leadership is Chancellor Gallagher wants to be excellence. He wants excellence in football and physics, and we're absolutely going to provide that to the best of our ability. Competitive excellence, without question. It is essential and it is a must, but not before we make sure we have success in the classroom. Because in fact, the student athletes we recruit who have the will and the grinded out mentality in the classroom will succeed mightily on the fields of play. And with that, let me just say this. As we think about the city of Pittsburgh, and we think about this great university, the tradition, the history, the heritage, we think about the current group of student athletes, nearly 500, the current group of coaches and staff. I tell you today that Jody and I, the Barnes family, are honored to accept the position as athletic director and couldn't be more excited to get this started. I have put myself in a pickle because although my starting date is July 1, I really have 2 jobs between now and July 1, and we'll make that work. We'll look forward to it and are very excited for that opportunity. With that, I'm pleased and honored to open it up to any questions that you might have for Chancellor Gallagher or myself. And again, it is indeed a great day to be a Panther. Hail to Pitt.
Scott said we will open up for questions now. If you could please state your name and affiliation and ask your question. That will open things up.
Sam Warner with the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. How did Chancellor Gallagher reach out to you, and what was your reaction? Ultimately, what made you want to take this job?
Good question. So, excuse me, I'm choked up more than in one way. Certainly the DHR search firm was used to bring that to focus, but let me tell you why Pitt, because that really I think is the heart of your answer. And again, when you think about what's important for an athletic department and for the leadership of an athletic department, it starts with the chancellor. And Chancellor Gallagher's vision, again, for excellence, whether it's football or physics, is critical to the success of an athletic program. It's also important that there's a trust and an alignment there, and we felt that the minute that we met Chancellor Gallagher, and Jody felt the same way, so that's key. Think about the opportunities here at Pitt, the upside, the tradition, the history, incredible history to build on and tradition. I love the fact that we've got new energy and a football coach and Coach Narduzzi, and just having a little bit of time with him during this search process, understanding his energy, his vision, and just being excited to help support that vision that Coach Narduzzi has. Overall, you think about the quality of this university, one of the best research institutions in the country, and the city that Pittsburgh is, and it wraps up into a really nice bow for us.
Yes. Jerry Paul, Pittsburgh Tribune.
Hi, Jerry.
Welcome, Scott.
Thank you.
When Mark Hall was first mentioned, Pitt would be a good job for you. When you talked to him during the committee meetings, what was your first reaction?
Pitt? Mark was here, and Mark shared with me how special this place is. And, being from the West and wandering out this way was something that we, both Jody and I, look at as an absolute adventure. And we think about Pitt, and we've been in the Midwest, and we've been to cities like Seattle and Spokane, and this is a little bit of all that. And so we were very, very excited about, as we learned more about Pitt, and again, the great tradition, this city, this sports town that it is, the alumni base, again, the leadership of this university and Chancellor Gallagher all played a part in that. And Mark talked, and I talked extensively about that. Yes.
Thanks, Lawrence, Panther Digest. What have you found to be most challenging about this line of work, and how do you anticipate it will help you as you this job?
Well, I think the ever-changing landscape. We have our eye on the future and what that holds, given the current challenges that are out there that are out of our control. And so what we have to do is focus on those things we can control and react and respond as quickly as we can to those things that we can't control. But I think the challenges that come are the dynamics in many ways currently that are out of our control, and we've just got to be ready to respond to those.
Yes. But you're known as a really good fundraiser. What is the key to being successful in that field?
Well, I think, first of all, it's about relationships. It's about listening. It's about matching interest and ability to give to important projects, setting a vision that people can grab onto and get excited about. And when you have that vision that you put together, not by yourself, you put it together with your coaches and your chancellor and others, but you put together a common vision that people can buy into, and then you talk to people that have a heart for Pitt and what you're doing and have the interest and ability, it tends to come together. But certainly making sure that we're out there, we're casting a wide net, we're asking new people to join, we're re-upping the folks that have been so loyal to us, purposeful activity in that process, and new ways to ask and excite people along the way.
The process started for you already here?
It started on the plane trip over here with Jody, running a few things by her just to see if how she felt about it. Yeah, you can tell I'm excited.
Follow-up with Chancellor Gallagher, how important was Scott's track record for fundraising?
It was important. It was very important. As I said, athletics and its power to connect us means that we have to work together to make it successful. We are at a time when higher education and the cost of higher education is a real issue. We also know that resources are needed to produce competitive teams in these leagues. And so the only way you can make that work is if you've got the robust fan base and you've got the support. And I think Pitt fans want to help, and I think Scott's right. This is a matter of connecting a vision with a willingness to make a difference. And what he didn't mention that I think is just as important is the ability to get things done. If you're a donor and you want to make a difference, the vision's great, but you want to also have the confidence that if you make a gift, it's going to happen and it's going to be transformative. And I think that's been part of Scott's magic sauce, is that his track record is something people will have confidence and trust in.
Corey Cohen, WPTS Radio. Many have drawn a parallel between Pitt and Washington, both being a Power 5 school in a big city with 5 pro teams. Do you think that your experience there will prove to be an asset here at Pitt?
I do. We're familiar with that environment, a sports town, both in the opportunities that are there and sometimes the challenges. But certainly we've talked a lot about the similarities in that environment and being a college town and yet a pro town and what comes with that.
Yes. So, what sort of conversations have you had with Coach Narduzzi? Sit back there, and sort of what have those conversations been like?
Again, I think I stated that how excited I am about his vision. He wants excellence, just the same way that Chancellor Gallagher and I want excellence, and he's putting a plan together to get that. His expectations are much higher than what maybe has been. He's going to set the bar at a much higher level, and his student athletes will reach that because he's a teacher. He is all about making the student athlete better. I was very impressed as we talked about student athletes that are currently on the roster who he's developing and will be instrumental in his game plan, who maybe haven't played a lot because Coach Narduzzi is a teacher. And so I think you put those things together, and it's very exciting.
The other side of that, I mean, speak to Coach Dixon then.
Quite often. And Jamie Dixon is one of the most respected college coaches in America. And prior to this interview process, in my tour of duty, if you will, in the men's basketball tournament, for the last 5 years, I've learned firsthand how well Jamie Dixon is respected by his colleagues in the basketball community.
Additional questions? Okay, that concludes our questions. I would ask the three of you to please come over here by the stairs, and Jody, if you can join them, please, for a brief photo session, and we'll open up for some one-on-ones off the stage area.
Thank you, everybody.